Everton have won 2-0 at Burnley for a fourth consecutive victory to move 7 points clear of the relegation zone. Former Claret Michael Keane got the second goal, and we can hear from him now.
Michael, you saying you were shattered, but surely it's worth the pain. What a result here at Turf Moor tonight.
Oh, definitely. It's a tough place to come to. Obviously a few changes in our team, but it goes to show the togetherness we've got in this squad at the minute, how we work in training every day. Means you can put in performances like that even when we do have to make changes. So it's a credit to the staff, it's a credit to the players, and yeah, I thought we fully deserved it.
What about you though? You talk about changes they have to be made. You've benefited from that. You go and score a goal as well.
Yeah, it's nice to score. I always fancy myself when I get in them situations. But yeah, just to get a game is good. Obviously, Jared's been brilliant. Unfortunately for him, he obviously got suspended. But you've got to take these opportunities when they come, and I've made sure I've kept fit. Well, as fit as possible. I still shattered at the end there, but and yeah, give myself a good chance when my opportunity comes. So I'm happy.
You know the consequence of this. You've wiped out that 10-point deduction as a team. It was party time in the away end. We shall not be moved. We're shouting the Everton fans throughout. Yeah,
I think that's 4 in a row now, and it just shows how the whole club's come together. I mean, Everton always does in the last 3 years. Good times, bad times. We get behind each other and we make it difficult for whoever we play against, and the fans have been outstanding. So to give them a bit back the last few weeks has been brilliant. It's
one of those, though. It could have gone one or two ways, but it just seems to have given you that extra bit of motivation, that extra bit of energy and confidence as well.
Definitely, yeah. I think something's clicked though in the last month or two in the squad. We've always had talent. We're working so hard for each other. We've got so much belief in each other, and the way the manager sets us up, it's getting us results, and with that comes belief. So the club's going in the right direction.
Such a big week for you as well. You've got the Carabao Cup in midweek, and you follow up with huge games in the Premier League to follow.
Yeah, it's a big period for us. Obviously, it's a huge game in the week. It'll be massive for us to get to a semi-final, but it'll be tough. We've got to recover now, but we'll be ready. Looking forward to it.
Well, you've overcome one challenge, and you are player of the match, Michael. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
What a reaction since they had their points deduction. They've taken 12 points from a possible 15. I mean, the story of the day was a new shape, new personnel, same outcome.
Yeah, and something to be proud of as players and something to be proud of as the manager, because you have to have a good feeling within the squad for that to happen, for players to come in, see it as an opportunity, take it, join in the feeling of what the squad are trying to achieve. Important to keep clean sheets, sensing the opportunity, as Michael said in his interview, to put a claim down, to be in the team for the next week. That all comes around because the squad is in a good place. And, to be able to do that, to change your shape, to be able to adapt from a back four to a back five. And during the game, there was really good rotation within the team. I'm a bit impressed with Everton at the moment, and got a big smile on my face because of it. Yeah, Sean struggled to keep the smile I've had on my face this afternoon.
Yeah. So, as you say, from a back four to what was a 3-4-3, obviously morphing into a 5 when they had to defend at points. How did it work on the whole?
Well, I think when we saw the lineup at first, we weren't sure whether Ben Godfrey would naturally go into left-back position, but it was completely different. It was a back three of Godfrey, Tarkowski and Michael Keane in the middle, and Dwight McNeil as a left wing-back with Patterson right wing-back. And yeah, that was the way they started off in an orthodox manner, but the way they rotated down that left-hand side with Tarkowski and McNeil was what gave Everton the fluidity during the game. There was times where McNeil left the man, it was Brun Larsen on the left-hand side. Tarkowski was able to be in a left-back position, allowing McNeil to get up the pitch. And when you've got bodies at the top end, that's when you can press better. Look here, Tarkowski. Everton are still playing a back five here, relatively. But at any time, they can go and switch to that 4-4-2 they're so accustomed with. Tarkowski sort of sacrificing himself in an unorthodox left-back position. It just allows the team to then be on the front foot. Michael Keane stepping into midfield positions to win the ball from the high press. So you've got people stepping into roles that are not normal for them to play, and yet they did it with ease today.
Why did he do that? Was his hands forced, or because of obviously personnel missing through either injury or suspension, or was it just to spring a surprise against Burnley?
No, I don't know whether it was a surprise as such. I think Everton were limited because of the suspensions and injuries, 3 of the back 4 being unavailable. I'm sure if they were all fit, they would have all just started the game and it would have been same as normal for Everton. But I think when you bring in people in, it would have been easy to bring Godfrey in as a left-back and then criticise him for not having played for a while and then jump in and play out of position. What he did was he put those players who were coming into the team in their strongest position to give them a really good opportunity to shine. And those players who are regular in the team go and fill in spaces. McNeil and Tarkowski, as I've talked about. I thought it was a really clever thing that Sean Dyche did.
Leon, is it possible, do you think, like, because you know what it's like when you haven't played for a while and you're on the sidelines, when you come into a game, normally you're a little bit rusty. Do you reckon he set that formation out just to protect those guys that haven't been in, just to give them time to get into the game?
Godfrey and Keane.
Yeah, 100% I do, yeah. I mean, I think that, just touching on it there, if you've not played for a while, coming into the team when it's at its peak of its powers, as Everton are playing really well at the moment, and trying to get up to that level, it's difficult enough as it is. To do that if you're not playing in your best position is difficult. So he's put those two centre midfield. He put a bank of four right in front of them to make sure... those two were centre-half, beg your forward. Bank of four in the midfield to make sure he protected them. And Everton started the game actually a little bit, not negatively, but they just allowed the defence to not press high up, allowed Burnley to come on for the first 10 minutes. Then players started sensing it. And then if you were watching the game, those were the players, Godfrey and the Keane, then going, I'm ready now. I'm ready. We're pushed forward. I'm into the game. And Everton went from there. And I thought it was very clever from Sean Dyche.
All this reflects well on Sean Dyche, right? The fact that they have this adaptability now.
Massively. I think Leon hit the nail on the head. You can only move around and change formations within a game while it's going if you have the belief in those players and those players have the belief and are playing at a confident level. And they showed it in today's game. They took it minute by minute and worked their way into their game. And even when things weren't going their way, when Burnley had a few spells in the game, they dealt with it as a team. It wasn't an individual running here. They all moved across together. If one person went forward, the others would cramp in so that he can't go through the middle. Their only options was wide, and effectively where they went wide, they only had one or two chances where they got in behind them. So in all, I think Everton defended really well.
You see, what makes it refreshing is in his 9 years at Burnley, he never had the Clarets playing with a back three. It was always a straightforward 4-4-2. But you knew he was strong on certain elements like set pieces, which is where he's now got Everton firing on all cylinders, both goals coming from them.
Yeah, and, you know, Sean Dyche has shown his adaptability with regards to his management, as we've discussed about being able to move to a back three and change his players. But he's kept his strengths. He's kept what he's good at, is attention to detail at set pieces, using people in a certain way to create opportunities and goals from set pieces, because as much as we love to see beautiful football, as much as we want to see the goals that go from back to front and the great, set pieces are a huge part of football, and you take advantage of where you're strong. And Everton have the opportunity with the size of players that they have to be very effective from set pieces. They've got brilliant delivery from Dwight McNeil. They've got players who are very aggressive in the air, and they've got people who are selfless and be prepared to block and create opportunities for other people coming in. Everton only really got Onana and Dominic Calvert-Lewin really going to attack that ball. Maybe Tarkowski at the front post as well. The rest are just blocking and sacrificing themselves for the team, and Everton completely take advantage of that in that space.
Yeah, and maybe canny enough to spot. They look like a real physical mismatch between Everton
and
like
Sean marking me.
I was going to say I thought I was taller.
It's close.
Yeah, but I've said it before on a lot of times. I think this zonal marking, I get why they do it, and I understand why a lot of teams do it. But there's always a mismatch when it comes to the runners running in to get that run up on the ball. And I've always thought that if a player that's 6'2" has a run up, even that player at 6'2" standing there won't win that ball, because he's got a head of steam and he's got that leap. And I think when Onana's running up against the little guy, like he said, if it was me, he would have done the same thing. He would just power through and tower. Yeah. But he loses him, and he doesn't need to power through. If you see him here, he's already lost him. From he pulls away, he's gone. Like all now, he's just got total concentration on the ball and his leap and his timing, and he does it perfectly.
It's just, I mean, you use your pieces where they can be most effective. I'm with Sean. I find it very surprising that you have all of your best defenders not marking at all. I don't mind if we centre forward, who's very good in the air, goes and stands in that position, because he's good at attacking the ball and he's not very good at actually marking. I want my defenders to go and defend and actually mark people. Burnley didn't do that. They've got their midfielders and their strikers doing the actual marking. And for me, that's not when you get the best out of them.
Yeah. So 4 straight league wins without conceding for the first time in 21 years. Great job done then by the Everton head coach. Here is Sean Dyche.
Sean, in the week you spoke about having no sentiment for Burnley, even though you have that respect for the town, the place, the people of this club. You came here to win. You did just that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I had a fantastic time here, on and off the pitch, getting to know so many. I thank them for their warm reception, but at the end of the day, it's moved on. I've moved on and that's it. So it gets parked, and now I'm an Everton manager, and we're working very hard to do well for Everton.
4 wins in a row, 4 clean sheets. You've wiped out that deduction with 2 points more.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. The players are outstanding today, second half particularly. The way they're going about it at the minute, we've had to change the shape last minute. We had no time to prep it, no time to work with it, other than explain sort of some of the principles we showed at Villa. And we took the game on in a very controlled, tactical manner. Not so much when you hope to play more freely at times, but when we've just put it together. And some of the people walking in, they've trained so well, they look after themselves, I've assured them it's respected, and they come in today and deliver performance.
One of those players who came in also scored a goal, Michael Keane. He hasn't had much game time, but that just shows, I think, the togetherness that you have. And you talk about consistency, and it's drilled into every player, regardless of who plays, personnel or formation. Yeah,
we're building a team ethic and a team respect, and it's getting deeper and deeper. And the link with the fans is becoming, a real one. It's getting more and more authentic. And I've always believed when I was a player, some of the successes I've had, and as a manager, I think you need that. So I'm pleased that I've stuck to task with that, because it's difficult. There's a lot of noise around football, and they say you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But I believe in what I can deliver with the players, but it's more important that they do, and they're beginning to do that. That's why I was so pleased with the second half. The second half was about managing the game. It was about tactical understanding. It was about delivering a tactical performance with a team that's been somewhat pieced together, and losing Duke at half-time as well. So these are good habits. These are bigger picture things that I think needed correcting, so they're beginning to get corrected.
What's happened with him?
He's got a tight hamstring, but we're struggling for numbers at the minute, so we can't take risks. We're hopeful it's nothing too major, but you never know, so we had to change it. I'm pleased for Dobbo as well. He's come on and played a half in the Premier League again, and he's done very well.
And Mikolenko, is that just a muscle injury? Is it groin or something like that?
Yeah, we're waiting on that. We're, as I said, we're piecing together different areas of the pitch. That's sometimes the way it is. But they're giving their lot. I mean, Amadou today, I thought Amadou was outstanding. Jimmy has been lately, but Amadou I thought was outstanding. There's so many good performers today. Things that managers look for. Not always what fans look for, but things that managers look for. Really, really pleasing.
Just want to put to you about, when you talk about the performers out there today, one person who wasn't involved was Seamus Coleman, although he was here. James Tarkowski, we've been talking to him. He was talking about how great his leadership skills are, how good he is in the dressing room. And he's also saying that it's a group game.
Yeah, I mean, he lives for the club, he lives for the badge, and he does it very well. He does it with pride, but he does it through his professionalism as well. So he's an outstanding figure to have around. Some of these games he wants to come, he wants to be involved. And I'm like, yeah, sure, good voice in the dressing room. And I think he rubs off on others, not just him. Tarky's now, he's maturing so much as a player, and you've got Youngie and, these guys, they're really important for the young players. It rubs off all these little nuances of being a rounded professional. It rubs off on the younger players, and it is doing.
What did you make of what Sean Dyche said there?
Yeah, I liked it. First of all, talking about leaders, you can't have enough leaders in your team. I know Seamus well, and it'll be frustrating after working so hard to be fit again that he's missing the games, but he's still involved. He's still a voice every day on the training ground. He's now becoming the voice that wants to go to matches and use his influence there. Tarkowski's developing into a real leader. So many more. You can see that in the performances. I really enjoyed the away points that came up there on the screen. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, Everton only got 15 points away from home in the entirety of last season, and to have 16 points on the road already, joint second on the list with the title chasing trio of Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City, shows how organised. I think if you go away from home and get points, you have to be organised. You have to be a team, and you have to be playing from a base. You can show your qualities or your style of play after that, but you have to be organised. And when I look at Everton at the moment, that's one thing I definitely do see. Yeah,
but you have to be not just organised, but no doubt mentally strong to go away from home and pick up all 3 points. 16 on the road already.
It's an amazing achievement, and I think, like Leon said, you have to have that foundation and base there. I think the organisation part is there. as we've seen in these run of games. But if you've got that foundation to go around and saying this is how we start, and if you noticed in that Burnley game, even though they would have been favourites in that game, they played their way into that game before they started doing what they actually wanted and the shape started changing. So I think if to hear Dyche say that they did that last minute shows where their confident level is at as a team and as a manager to believe that, yeah, my team can do this right now.
Yeah. And people will say, and I mentioned about how they've picked up, that incredible points return since the 10-point deduction. Was this form well in the making before that sanction for you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think when Sean Dyche took over, I think January last year, it was a tough time to pick up the club. Obviously, it had been a number of years of trying to avoid relegation. And it was just about getting the job done last year. He got a pre-season with the team. That's such a vital time. You'll tell you a pre-season to get the fitness levels you desire into the team, to play the way you want to play, to show the organisation. Because yes, Everton, he mentioned there, Everton, he said he had to change very late the way he wanted to play. But in doing so, if you've done all the work in pre-season with the majority of the squad, then you can verbally make the changes and verbally tell the players exactly what you want them to do. And if they're intelligent enough and if they've followed you during the pre-season, it's very easy to do. And I think I see all that from Everton. And, the fact that they're now scoring goals is showing that the performances of what they're capable of. I think now the only thing I'd think that the manager would be saying at the moment is he would like Dominic Calvert-Lewin to start getting a real hatful of goals himself.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the second goal. Michael Keane, who was not shy to celebrate against his former club.
As Leon said, he would have celebrated as well. But I think to hit the ball the way he's taken it there as a centre-back, it's so composed there. Here, he's already beat his Burnley defender there. I don't know why he's marking that side, but he just drifts into the space and it's a great flick on. But the way he takes that volley and he just calms himself down for that tap-in, for me, is superb.
Yeah, it's a brilliant finish. And as I said, he's arguably the best finisher at the club, Michael Keane, and gets himself into dangerous positions all the time. And I'm really pleased to see him celebrate. I really was. I think you're passionate sometimes. And he hadn't played for a number of weeks. He's got himself into the team. He scored a goal. Be passionate about it. Show how you feel about it. I'm sure his old club Burnley will completely understand.
From a Burnley perspective, I mean, it's quite a painful start to their return to the Premier League. They've lost 8 of the last 10 in the top flight. I mean, look at that. I mean, the 5-0 against Sheffield United, as impressive as it was, kind of stands alone as a beacon, right? But they just haven't been able to, I suppose, kick on as a result. And if you look at the bottom 6 now, there is a danger that those in the bottom 3 could be cut adrift. And where does this leave Vincent Kompany? Because he's sticking by his principles. It's just not bringing enough returns, is it?
It's definitely not. I think you can see what he's trying to do. I think the difference is he can take those chances in the Championship back then, because if you made those mistakes, you wasn't always going to get punished. Whereas in the Premier League, if you make that one mistake, it can end up in the back of your net. And at the minute, every time Burnley make a mistake, it seems to end up in the back of the net. Now, for me, they have a fantastic goalkeeper. But no matter how good your goalkeeper is, if you keep putting him in situations like that, he's inevitably going to concede goals. So I think as much as you want to play football, I feel like there has to be a time and a place, and it has to be the right time of the game, and depending on the game. Now, if there's an aggressive team and you know you're going to get caught on the ball, maybe just clear your lines and make it a little bit compact. And when the ball is over the other half, maybe then you try and keep the ball and play with the ball. But they have to do something. They can't keep conceding goals in the manner they are.
Yeah, I mean, 8 points after 17 games. It's a terrible return. They're not showing any signs of the real fight to stay in the Premier League. I'm seeing that from one or two other teams down there. Burnley are playing to their opposition's strengths, it seems, week in, week out. And unless they change, it won't be long before the inevitable happens.
Random thoughts on the match. It is quite remarkable that Everton, after suffering a huge 10 points deduction, have accumulated 4 3-pointers in a row. Sean Dyche has galvanised the team, taking the scalps of Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea and now Burnley, his old stomping ground, with a clean sheet to boot. They are now 7 points clear of the relegation zone. Burnley have been struggling at the bottom of the league alongside Sheffield United at 8 points. They have lost 8 out of the last 10 matches. It's not looking good for them. They have to turn out points soon or else they would be in major trouble.